Hey, good evening. Welcome back to Walking Against the Current tonight. We're so happy you joined us. We're so excited to be here. That's right. Give up the hand claps. All right, all right. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We're Walking Against the Current. We are here to give you a powerful show, educate you, and to teach you how to walk against the current. So tonight we're going to dive right in, and we are going to talk about something that's really dear to me and my son. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started. But before I do that, let me ask my son our infamous question. How was your day?
Had a blessed day despite this storm, but other than that, the day was good.
All right, all right.
How was your day?
It was good. I was a little tired today. We had a tornado watch here in South Carolina, and though we obviously didn't get a tornado, thank God, the weather was very gloom and doom today, and as a result of that, it just kind of sort of made me tired. And it's going to tie into the topic tonight, actually. So tonight we're talking about something powerful, something ancient, something that rises every single morning. Could anybody guess what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the sun. And this is a topic that's very dear to me. So what if I told you one of the greatest medicines on earth is completely free? Did you hear what I said tonight? What if I told you that one of the greatest medicines on the earth is completely free? It grows our food. It fuels our planet. It regulates our hormones, and it affects our mood. I just got through saying that.
Yep.
It affects our mood. But here's the real question, because I worked on this all day. Why do we spend so much time of our lives avoiding the sun? You know, back when we were children, you couldn't keep us out of the sun.
Right.
Now it's like you have to almost kick your kids outside to get some sun, except for your kids. Those jokers like being outside.
They do. They really do.
But so many, I mean, it's absolutely something that a lot of people and parents are talking about. And it's not just the kids, it is us too as adults.
Right.
We do not get enough sun. But I don't think the people realize how much medicine is in the sun. So if we understood that, more than likely we would go outside and take a sun bath. Not just when we go onto the beach, but when you just get in front of your house and just stand outside and allow those rays to do what they do to your cells of your body.
That's good.
So I just recently learned this. I never realized that not getting enough sun could actually cause, because you're basically losing your vitamin D. It can actually cause depression.
Oh, wow.
You know, because I have been experiencing, like, you know, my youngest son has no get up and go. And I was like, hey, you know, what's going on? He was like, I just don't feel like it. It's like, I just don't want to, you know, everything is just like, why? You know, I'm like, gosh, that sounds like a person that's depressed. And he goes, I probably am depressed. And then when I was speaking to a doctor about it, and she was like, well, how often does he go outside? I'm like, hardly ever, you know? And she goes, that's probably a lot of his problem. And she went on to tell me that she had a patient that was severely depressed, and she was put on some pharmaceutical meds for depression, and she actually started developing more suicidal symptoms.
Oh, wow.
And so mom got her right off of that. It was like, okay, forget about it. Be in the house, you know, just be in the house.
Right.
But when she went and met this doctor, she goes, I'm going to put her on vitamin D. And when she started taking the vitamin D3, I think it was, she made a complete turnaround in her mood. So now you can, I've learned, actually do harm with overdosing with a vitamin D supplements, but you can never, you know, I shouldn't say that. Let me be careful with my words. I don't want nobody coming back for me. I mean, typically, if you in the sun wisely, you know what I mean, you cannot really overdose on the sun. You know, I mean, of course you can get sunburn and all that good stuff, but you're not going to have any major issues from sitting in the sun sunbathing. So it's really important. I really felt like this is a topic that we needed to discuss because it's something that we all avoid or we're not getting enough of except when we go on vacation. We really need to understand how much this sun does for our body. You go ahead. You talk to me.
Well, as you guys can see, she's passionate about this.
Yeah.
As we always talk about, we go back and forth with topics. And so we're talking about leadership, business. Obviously, I'll talk more. If we're talking about nature and sun and different things, she'll talk more. But it's always intriguing, these topics, because I get opportunity to learn about this stuff. Because as we always say, we come on these lives and we don't share notes. We come on here very impromptu and just let you guys get it. So if we mess up, if we yell, if we stutter, if we got the wrong information sometimes, she'll correct me on here or I'll correct her. But definitely the sun is definitely something that, it has so many vitamins and minerals. But a lot of times, especially in the Black culture, I think we shy away from the sun because you see so many stigmas like Africa, and I don't want to get darker, because a lot of times we'll say, I don't want to get black.
Right.
And not realizing that other nationalities, they do all this sun tanning or this sunbathing.
Right.
They go on all these machines to get that melanin, to get the natural nutrients that we as African Americans or Black people get, that a lot of times we shy away from. Me being one of them, growing up in the South, I have gotten darker being in South Carolina than being in New York. And it's been times where I was shy away from the sun because I didn't want the stigma of always being called the black boy. Or like we talked about, sometimes people would say, oh, Lawrence, you're so handsome to be a dark-skinned boy or a dark-skinned man. And you share that, you got the same thing.
Right.
So it's just one of those situations to where, it's we have to be cognizant and understand that there's so many other positives when it comes to the sun, right? Thinking about ancient cultures and how they practice in sunbathing. Think about farmers and outdoors, how historically they had better physical resilience because of the sun.
Right.
Think about how even biblical, how God created light, right? And what am I saying? That was the sun. You know what I'm saying? But my question I want to ask to the audience and ask the people that's watching and ask to you, do you think that we have become disconnected from nature as a society, and why?
Absolutely. I think we've become disconnected because we've gotten so caught up with devices and we've gotten away from, like you said, we shy away from the sun, especially like you said in our community. It's almost like I don't want to be in the sun, like you said. I don't want to get darker. And then we've gotten so caught up with wanting to just sit on our phones and play games and all those things. So that is extremely, that's an extremely important fact that we need to discuss tonight because, yes, nature is, as I get older and I study this, and I do study it passionately, as my son said, I study it passionately. I mean, you can get me caught up in a topic like this for hours. I don't think we ever been taught properly about how much we as humans are directly connected with nature and how it fuels us, and how if we really understood that, we would be putting these devices down and running outside. But because we're not educated enough on it, that's one of the reasons why we shy away from the sun. I mean, honestly, most people that get their blood work done, a panel done, they're vitamin D deficient, So it's something that we have to ask ourselves why. That wasn't the case before. People were outdoors a lot before, and so now, unfortunately, they're not. So we have to really. I want to talk about some shocking facts about the sun really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to just give 10 facts that I felt was fascinating about the sun, and then maybe we'll get off this topic tonight and people will start running outside to get some sun and also to hug a tree, We'll talk about that next, hugging a tree. It's important. Yeah. So sunlight powers almost all life on Earth. Every plant, every animal, every ecosystem ultimately depends on the sunlight. And I'm going to add, we do too. Your body literally makes hormones when sunlight hits your skin. Did you hear that? Your body makes hormones when sunlight hits your skin. 1 hour of sunlight hitting the earth contains more energy than the entire world uses in a year.
Mm.
You know, so humans evolved outdoors for hundreds of thousands of years. Indoor lifestyles are extremely new into our human life. This is all new. Like I said, we used to always be in the sun.
Right.
Vitamin D, I just said this deficiency affects over 1 billion people worldwide.
Wow.
Sunlight exposure triggers serotonin production, the brain chemical associated with happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So think about if you're not getting enough of it, what's happening is the opposite of happiness, sad, right?
Right.
Lack of sunlight is directly connected to the seasonal affective disorder, SAD. People with darker skin, listen up to all my chocolate sisters and brothers, people with darker skin tones need more sunlight to produce the same vitamin D levels. So that means we have to sit in the sun longer to get, like somebody with fair skin, Caucasian, they don't have to sit in the sun as long as we do. Our melanin in our body requires us to have to get a double dose of sun to really get their benefits, to get the benefits from it. So we have to sit in the sun longer. So those of us, we need to sit in the sun a little longer. Right. Natural sunlight is far brighter than indoor lighting, sometimes up to 100 times stronger. So could our bodies be struggling because we're living under artificial light instead of natural light? Could our bodies be struggling because of it?
Yeah, you know, absolutely. If everything you just said, talking about the sun and talking about the natural attributes of what it does to the body, you know, if we're not getting the sun and we're getting artificial, anything artificial is not necessarily good, you know. And by the way, y'all watching, if y'all hear any loud thundering, you know, it's a storm going on out here. So I hope you guys is watching from the comforts in your home. But definitely anything artificial, you know, when it comes to sunlight, you know, it's not going to give you the natural attributes that you would get from the actual sun. But I want to talk about something that you talk about when it comes to mental health, when it comes to the sun. Serotonin, right? How the sunlight increases serotonin, how it helps with your mood and anxiety. You know, I'm one of the ones, you know, I give labs and panels all the time. You know, I'm always at the doctor getting checked out, you know. What you call it, hypochondriac?
Hypochondriac.
Yeah, hypochondriac. So like anybody that know me, like if I have anything going on, you know, I'm going to the doctor. You know, I should be the healthiest man in America.
You're not alone. My sister on this call, my sister, I see her on, my sister Lynetta, she will be at the doctor getting labs sometimes 3-4 times in 1 week. I'm like, where you at getting labs? I'm like, oh my God.
So I've gotten many labs and I'm actually on a vitamin D deficiency pill. One time my vitamin D was so low that it was giving me 50,000 units of vitamin D per week. I had to take one pill that was 50,000 units per week. Now, I think the regular dose is like $2,000 to $5,000 a day. Look, I said dollars. 2 to 5.
Look where his mind is at.
It's 2,000 to 5,000 units per day.
He got to bring that dollar back in there.
I'm trying to tell you. You know, but so now I'm on a maintenance dose where I take a daily pill, and sometimes I still slip up and don't take it every single day.
Right.
But I do take a daily pill to keep my vitamin D where it needs to be, because it's been times where my vitamin D was extremely low, and we don't understand that when your vitamin D is low, it does cause issues with your immune system.
Yeah.
It does cause issues with your bone health.
Yep.
And come to think about it, many of you guys know I was in the hospital. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago, right? Almost.
Time, listen.
I think it's almost 2. Wow,
I can't keep up with time no more.
I think that was I think this April would be 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
So in
Praise be to God.
2024, I was in the hospital for something called rhabdomyolysis because my bones were deteriorating because of working out, not drinking enough fluids, you know, trying to lose more weight, that my bones was literally deteriorating. And at the time, my vitamin D was extremely low as well.
Yeah, and I dare to say that most people vitamin D levels are low because we sit in our car for 8 hours. Sit on our jobs for 8 hours. That's indoors. We rarely ever go to the park unless it's maybe the weekend. We don't just take the opportunity to just kind of sort of just take a walk in the park, which, you know, is really important to do. So let's talk about, I mentioned earlier about melanin, and just to educate for those who did not know what that meant, I kind of sort of want to lightly educate on that. So melanin is the pigment responsible for skin color. Okay, so but it also functions as a natural biological protection system. So melanin helps absorb your UV radiation, protects the skin cells from damage, and it also reduces the risk of sunburn. Because melanin protects the skin, people with darker skin require more sunlight exposure to produce the same amount of vitamin D. I just wanted to educate those who didn't know what melanin was.
Hmm. So Lynetta put on here that people are generally more happier during the summertime.
Absolutely.
And that's actually a question that I had on here.
Mine's
Why do you
too.
think people feel happier on sunny days?
Oh man, well the sun absolutely affects your mood. So if your mood, your serotonin is coming in, and the sun is just imagine it's saturating you with the hormones of happiness.
Right.
So when you think about the sun and you see the sun, it's like, what can I do today? Immediately you start making plans. You feel like I got to get outdoors. You feel that automatically. So definitely it's the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It stimulates something inside of us naturally.
That is so good.
So why is the lack of sunlight? Do you think that it can affect depression? You know, I mean, have you ever thought about that? We just talked about how the sun helps us. What is it about the sun when we're not getting the sun? What's happening?
Oh man, there's so many things happening. I would say, like you said, not getting the sun. And I think it ties into my next segment was talking about how we lost the sun,
Right.
in today's society, because so many people, like you mentioned, live indoors. Me being one of them, I really go outside like that.
Right.
I think about when I was a kid, we stayed outside.
Right.
We played basketball. We played football outside. I fractured two of my big toes, playing outside. But there's so many things that we've done outside. It was, and back then it wasn't no in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah, you come in and out too much, you stay in.
You stay in. If you wanted some water, go drink out the hose. Drink out the fire hydrant. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, kids want to stay inside. They got too much screen time is the new word now.
Right, it is.
Screen time with the phones and screen time with the tablets and iPads. Like you said, we work under artificial light.
Right.
And going back to the fear of sunlight, the fear of getting darker, the fear of, I can't see. And like, it's been times where, like, for me, I hate to say this, but I dislike going outside and then walking back into, walking out from a dark room into a light room because your eyes like you know what I'm saying? Like you can't see.
Yes, it has to refocus.
Got to
Right.
refocus.
Yeah. And you're right. That's a natural thing because my youngest son was just saying to me, Mommy, he was looking at old photos of himself, just talking about the fear and how we've been so psychologically messed up in this country in so many ways that my youngest son looked at some old photos of himself and he was like, I was actually lighter here. And I'm like, yeah, you was. No, it's okay. He was like, well, because I was in the pool so much, you let the sun burn me. The chlorine burned my skin, and now I'm like midnight. Everywhere I go, somebody's dissing me over my skin color. I'm like, dude, you are beautifully, wonderfully made. I always call him Silk because he has such dark, rich skin. I tell him you have loads and loads of melanin in your body, if you really understood the beauty of that. But he doesn't. So he really does not like the fact that he's gotten darker. So now he blames me for allowing him to play in the pool in the backyard because he said that between the chlorine and the sun of South Carolina, it baked him. And I'm like, hey, I was in there too, you know what I mean? So, but it just shows you that, sometimes in society, people are making, really cruel jokes to children that are darker skinned. And that's another topic, but I'm just going to lightly touch it. That they'll say stuff like, oh, you are too dark, or you're midnight, or this one of the African booty scratcher. I mean, there's all kind of crazy names that these children come up with.
One.
That's a throwback, but it's real. And so and unfortunately, it makes a lot of African American children feel when they're dark skinned that there's something wrong with it. So as a result of that, they will come outside with an umbrella damn near to block the sun, for letting the sun hit them for fear that they're going to get darker,
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling him to embrace the sun. I'm not saying sit there and become a raisin. I'm just saying embrace the sun, man. Embrace the sun. My granddaughter. We have a live audience. She's cracking up over there. So embrace the sun.
I have learned in my latter years. You know what I'm saying? I have learned to embrace my complexion. I have learned to embrace my skin. you know, because I'm a handsome, beautiful black man, black skin, you know, because for years I could not stand.
Well, I was going to say, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about during your teenage years, how you felt being a darker skinned man.
Yeah, as a teenager, I couldn't stand it, you know, because I got tired of being called, "Oh, you so handsome or cute for a black boy."
Right.
You know, it's like these slave terms. You know, it wasn't it wasn't a young man. It was a black boy. You know, you black. You're
Right.
black. You're black ASS. You know.
You couldn't get in trouble and just say, "Go sit down. Go sit your black A down." You know what I mean? You just couldn't. Parents just couldn't say, "Go sit down." They had to add the black in there.
It's like there's always certain things that make
Right.
it funny. But just say it, like, you know, like people say, you know, go sit your black ass down, or go sit your fat ass down. Like when you say the word, right? When you say the word, see, it always makes it funnier. But when somebody say, "Go sit your light skinned self down," "Go sit your red self down," right? Or "Go sit your skinny self down," like there's no negative connotations to that.
And it's so funny because when you say, "You so red," people that are red, they feel like, "Yeah, okay, thank
Right.
you." It's
Right.
almost like, "Okay, I'll go sit my red self down." You know,
Right.
It's not because they're not being crucified
Right.
at the schools or at different places because of their skin being lighter.
Right.
So when you're darker, it's not something that's positive because you're being crucified with words for it being something wrong with your dark skin. So when somebody
Yes.
say, "Go sit your black ass down,"
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh Lord, they call me black again." You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just, I mean, we've got to get away from that and walk against the current, but it comes from education. This is the reason why I'm so passionate about education and teaching, because this is important. I mean, if you walk around and you've been dark skinned and you've been told those names, my son suffered with that when he was in junior high school.
Yeah, listen, but you gotta think though, and it goes back to, it's so much deeper than just the complexion thing about it, right? And I ain't trying to start no race war or nothing like that, but for real though,
Please.
but I'm not. But what I'm saying is, everything associated with black is always negative.
Right.
Everything associated with white is always positive, right? The black cake is the devil's something.
The
you
devil's
know?
food cake.
The devil's food
Yeah,
cake.
something like that,
The
yeah.
white cake is this. You know, black in the Bible, the black cat walked by, that means you cursed. You know, the white cat walked by, that means the angel is black. I mean, the devil is black or red. The angel is white. You know, so I'm not saying as far as a black and white thing, I'm talking about a complexion thing. So growing up, when you see something that's always darker complexion versus something that's a lighter complexion, you associate the thing that's darker as something being negative, something that's being bad. And especially when you got people calling you certain names and calling you black ASS, and, you know, it's always used in a derogatory manner. So growing up, I was like, man, there's something wrong with me because I'm dark skinned.
Right.
I mean, I'll try to bleach my skin.
Oh my
you
God, I
know.
remember that.
I tried
Oh
to
my
bleach my
God.
skin. It's been times I didn't want to play sports like football or track because I didn't want to be outside. I only wanted to play basketball because it was indoors. So there's so many different complexes that I've dealt with. And I had to learn over the years to embrace myself,
Right.
and to love myself as a dark-skinned black male, because for a long time, you know, that was shunned upon, you know.
Right.
But a lot of females love dark-skinned men.
Now it's
You know what I'm
becoming
saying?
popular.
Now it's
these
becoming a
days. Right.
phenomenon.
Right.
But back
I
then,
want
it
my
was like,
chocolate man. Give me my chocolate man. You know.
right. But back then, you know, I say back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me type
Uh-oh,
situation.
watch
right?
out, watch out
But
now.
see, but back then it was all about, you had to be light skinned and green eyes. And I never, ever, ever, like, some of my best friends is light skinned. And it's so ironic because some of my good friends were light skinned, and they used to always give me props. Man, you dark skinned, man. But the thing was, dark skin with pretty teeth.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Man, you dark skinned, man, you got that smile, bro. Man, I wish I had teeth like yours, and I wish I had skin like yours, you know?
Right,
So no matter what the situation was, somebody always want to
have something
have
that they don't
something
have.
that they don't have.
Right. Right. That's the thing. We got a what's that comment saying?
It says dark skin, light skin, got to be comfortable in their skin. We got a lot of comments.
Yes, we got to be
Yeah, we got all
comfortable.
of them.
So I want to balance it a little bit because I don't want everybody running out to the sun and sitting there for hours. Next thing I know, they come back with skin burns and they're like, we got that from walking against the current. Say, go out there in that sun. So it's important to stay balanced. Moderate sunlight exposure can support health, but overexposure can sometimes cause damage. So we say avoid getting sunburned, gradual exposure, using protection during intense heat. You know what I mean? If you have to use sunscreening and things of that such. So another question I would like to ask, When was the last time? When was the last time you actually just took a deep breath and watched the sunrise or the sunset? There's some kind of peace in that.
Probably never.
Oh gosh.
Watch the sun. Not gonna lie, it's been times I woke up early and probably seen the sunrise, but oh, you know what? I have seen the sunset before. You know what I'm saying? Probably not rise as often, but definitely set. But I actually took a deep breath this morning. I took one of those
Oh, good.
breathing exercises. I felt myself getting anxious this morning.
Oh, good. It
'Cause
works.
just doing. I was doing too many different things, and I was actually scrolling on Instagram, watching the video. Somebody sent me a meme, and wanted to add. Somebody was doing one of them. And I said, "Okay, God, this is my sign. You know,
Yes.
let me start breathing."
Breathing.
And you know what I'm saying? Because I felt myself, getting worked up.
And actually, the breathing actually tells your brain that you're safe. So it's telling when you're taking those deep breaths, holding it for 4 seconds, and exhaling slowly, it's telling your brain that I'm safe.
Oh my God.
What?
In my opinion, I always thought light-skinned men were undercover. In my opinion.
All right, don't you dare do that.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Go sit yourself down somewhere.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So I think that it's really going to be important for us to really educate ourselves on the importance of how important that sun is, and don't shy away from it. If you have dark skin, it actually it replenishes it replenishes the nutrients in our body that we need. So you have to look at it not just like I'm getting some sun. You got to look at it as I'm sitting out here. A lot of times when I sit in the sun, I look up at the sun. I thank God for the sun, first of all, because it's important. It sustains this whole world.
Yeah.
Without the sun, there'll be nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing would grow. Nothing. Everything that we survive on is from the sun. So when I look at the sun, I thank God for the sun. Right? And then when I sit down and I sunbathe, I'm taking my deep breaths and I'm slowly imagining. See, your imagination has to be there. I'm imagining these rays are in my body healing me. That's a little nugget. Get out on your deck and do that, or your porch or whatever you have. Just get out in the sun.
Yeah. Do you think that we are over relying on pills instead of lifestyle?
I think so. I think that, people will just say, doctor tells you you're vitamin D deficient. People just run out and go get some vitamin D pills.
Right.
They won't even, go back to what God has put here for us naturally. They will not go back and take advantage of that. They'll just go with the vitamin D pills and just use that. But it's not going to do what nature does best.
And even talking about scripture, right? Psalms 84:11 says, "The Lord God is a sun and shield." Right? The Lord God is a sun and shield. And just thinking about that, right? From a spiritual perspective, light symbolizes life and clarity.
Okay.
Sunlight connects us to creation, right? And being outside can be spiritual but grounding. And a lot of times you talk about that a lot. And, like my boy, I talked about Kasudi and different things. There's something to going outside and putting your feet on the ground with no socks on. Now, again, going back to Lawrence, not y'all, I don't like bugs. So in South Carolina, we got something called fire ants. And them ants will fire your feet up if you're outside too long. But there is something to going outside and setting your feet on the ground and walking in grass and grounding. I've done that plenty of times before, and you feel that release. You feel all that energy just coming up from the ground into your body, igniting you, for lack of a better word.
Yes, it absolutely does, because in the ground, in the trees is electricity. Our bodies are made up of electricity, so we need it. Grounding is extremely important. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to talk about just a little bit about what you said about just dealing with running away from the sun a little bit as a child, and making sure that we are educating our children about the importance. I think that we should start taking our children out on nature walks. I think church services should get out the building some days and get out there and do service outside. I think it's important for us as a community to get from outside of the four walls. Yeah. And we don't have to always do things the status quo. We don't have to always do it that way. We can walk against the current and say, hey, let's meet at the park today and have service. Let's go here, instead of just saying we're going to go ride our bikes and, let's go to the park and ride our bikes. We need to walk against the current to find fun ways to get from outside of the building. And I think that also you gain the opportunity to minister to others as well when you get outside. You know what I mean? So that's just important. I think it's really important to really get outdoors.
Just think about this. What if this? Here's a thought. What if sunlight was sold in a bottle?
Oh man.
It would probably be one of the most expensive things you can buy.
Right. That's a great word.
Think about that, right? Imagine you could buy sun in a bottle. People that's vitamin D deficient, they don't want to take no pills. You could drink a bottle of sun.
Right.
You could just open it up and like a cartoon. You open a bottle up and you open that joint up. And it's like, right? And it's just come in your face, and like you immediately get healed, or you
Right.
immediately get your numbers back up from your labs because you could literally now buy sun in a bottle.
Wow. Then all of a sudden, everybody be rushing to the stores like, oh, it got all these benefits. Wow, it's going to release the happy hormone. Wow, it's going to give me vitamin D. Wow, it's going to improve my immune system. And in the world that we living in, you want any and everything that's going to improve your immune system. You know what I mean? You didn't get as sick back in the days from just the simple lifestyles that our grandparents lived to opposed to now. We got people with immune deficiencies young.
Yeah.
You know, so if the bottle said we're going to improve your immune system, that's the first thing it needs to say, right? With everything going on, COVID, this, that, all it has to, if I had to market it, that would be the first thing I'll say, improve your immune system, right? Next thing I'm going to say is going to make you happy. You know what I mean? It's going to do all these great things. Like you said, it'll be a bestseller.
Yep.
When I'm telling you just to open your door and sit your butt down in the sun for free.
Yep.
You know? How do you pronounce that word? I'm having such a difficult time with that.
You're gonna put me on the spot.
Oh, okay.
See, I think it's Carter.
Circadian.
Circadian.
Circadian. That's it. Circadian rhythm.
Yeah. Circadian
So
rhythm.
it talks about that in our bodies. We
Lord
have
mercy, we both been struggling.
we struggling with that. Circadian
Circadian rhythm.
The circadian rhythm is your body's internal
You gonna put me on the
24
spot.
I'm sorry, because I was struggling over here while you was talking. I was like,
You think I'm a
know-
struggle problem?
I know this word. Circadian. Well, listen, like I said, there's no formula on walking against the current. We are absolutely keeping it 100.
Right.
I wish I could say I was perfect, but I'm not, you know?
Right.
But our circadian rhythm is your body's eternal 24-hour clock that controls sleep, energy, hormones, and mood. Sunlight is the main signal that sets this clock. So I just said it controls your sleep, your energy, your hormones, and your mood. And it really is activated by the sunlight. So our bodies run on something called the circadian rhythm, basically our natural biological clock that is controlled by light and darkness. So we need to understand that. We want to activate that rhythm going on in a positive way. Let's get some sun. It tells your body, hey, literally, it's amazing how our body, God, when you really think about our bodies and nature, you realize how intricate and detailed God was. The sun awakes you and it makes you automatically feel like it's time to get out. And when it gets dark, your body also has another hormone that makes you feel more tired.
Right.
So a lot of times, you know, we fighting against or walking against the current in areas that we don't have to. At a certain time of night, if you sleep, you go to sleep. I tell this one that all the time. Go to sleep.
Yeah, that's why I struggle with trying to go to sleep.
Because if you don't get enough rest, what's happening is you will have the anxiety, you will have the stress, all these things that can really be solved by just going to sleep.
No, I need to start taking things off my plate,
Yeah, that too.
right, and start relinquishing things or just shutting stuff down
Right.
because I need to sleep and get some rest, right? But here's some practice habits that we could tell you guys about. I guess ways to get more sunlight, because I know for me, my doctor was like, you need to go outside and walk for at least 30 minutes a day in the sun. So that's one thing you could do. Or you could do 10 to 20 minutes outside daily. Outdoor workouts, you know, like you said, sunset, going out there during the sunset to wake up, pray, meditate, do certain things out there in the sun. Just anything you could do in the sun. One thing I was doing, maybe like 3 years ago, when I was much heavier, I was walking from my driveway to the stop sign and back. And I was taking that small, brisk walk, A, to get some sunlight, B, to clear my mind. Because, you know, you got to think about it. When you come home sometimes from work, you got so many things in your mind And sometimes we come home from work and we rush straight into the house to family, to responsibility, to cooking, to taking a shower, whatever your daily routine is. And one of the things I begin to do, I probably need to start back doing that, was when I came home, I would get out my car, I would take a deep breath, and I would walk to my stop sign, and I would walk, I would pray, I would breathe, and then I would come back.
That's an excellent thing to do. It's excellent.
And I would come back, and now I'm like, okay, now I will walk into my house, right? But that small walk, and it's not far at all. Maybe, I mean, from my driveway to the stop sign, it's not very far at all. But I would not have my phone with me. I would just walk, breathe, come back, and then into my house and, greet the family. But I stopped doing that. And
yeah, it makes an impact. I love this comment that my sister said. We are made of dirt. What does it say? We're made of dirt, and the ground is our relative. I like that. It is. I mean, it is our family. Nature is. We are all one. We are all one. So, like I said earlier, I was looking at something in my notes. The photosynthesis was when plants convert sunlight into energy to grow. So that means like I said earlier, every piece of food we eat ultimately comes from sunlight and energy. So sun is, I'm not going to say it's a God, but it's a God's gift to us, so we need to really embrace that. And it's not just that. I mean, I'm fired up because I'm all about getting more healthy in a way that it's not costing us a lot of money and educating ourselves to nature. And I heard something today. I'm going to talk with my son about it to see if he wants to do the podcast on it. It talked about the benefits of walking, and everything that this educator was teaching about was everything that God had already told me. Because he was telling me to get in the gym, go to the gym, and I was like, something is pulling me to nature. I couldn't explain what it was, but everything that I had said to him, he's going to be astonished when I tell him what I learned today. Everything that I had told him, this doctor was saying is absolutely essential for healing and he was even talking about brain function growing back from walking. Certain things that they said, I think, what is the HIPAA, we talked about that, but that particular part of the brain that a lot of times as you get older, they say you lose it and you can't remember things.
Oh, it's called the hippocampus.
That section of the brain where people can't remember things. It talked about, they did a case study where people were walking and it actually grew back brain function.
Oh, wow.
For memory. So he was talking about, and he talked about the gym versus walking. I was like, yeah, Holy Spirit told me that, I was like, because I'm telling you, I know it sounds like really corny, but I knew that there was some connection between God and nature, some major connection.
Absolutely.
And it was like, he talked about the gym floors. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the gym, but he talked about the floors of the gym is not made where it's actually beneficial to your body, the way our bodies are made. Something about the walking is something, it's really powerful. So we're going to maybe, if you want to learn more about that, let me know. We'll talk about that.
How did he look as a doctor?
He's very small. He looks very good. Okay.
I'll make sure, I had a doctor one time that was obese, trying to tell me how to eat. I'm looking at him like,
But it didn't mean that the information wasn't valid.
No, you're right. I'm just making a joke.
Because a lot of people know stuff, but they don't practice what they preach, right?
But that
doesn't mean that the knowledge is not good.
True. That's true. But see, even
it's
that
hard to receive.
But even that statement is good when it's beneficial. Right?
What you mean?
Like meaning, like, okay, say you have a doctor or a dietitian that's obese trying to tell you about, the information is good, but then their discipline or practices make it right. You know what I'm saying? To follow.
Right.
Versus, okay. But,
I know what you're saying. So when you see somebody like that giving you advice, I'm hoping that's what I'm saying. It's almost like, it's almost like you can't even do it.
Well, what I'm saying is that's more acceptable to society. Like, okay, he's a doctor or she's a doctor. Yes, she's obese or whatever it is, right? And she got the knowledge, but she's right. It's easy to receive from that person versus somebody that's a pastor or somebody that's something else, and maybe they made a mistake. Now people want to crucify them. They still have the word of God.
Okay.
They still have the word of God in them. They just made a mistake.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got what you're saying now. You're saying that, because of their profession, should I say.
Right.
People, because of their degrees, so to speak, quote unquote, they get a kind of a pass.
Get a pass.
Yeah, opposed to somebody who is anointed by the Almighty. We don't give them the same pass.
We don't give them the same grace.
Don't pass, right, exactly. So I will say that I am hungry to teach about growing and learning and really wanting us to walk against the current and take advantage of all the things that God has put in place for us to be healthy in our minds and our wellness. This is my journey where I'm at in life is, okay, I'm growing and learning each and every single day. And that's where I want to be. And that's where I feel like I need to teach and educate on that. As I learn and as I grow, I want to be able to teach others. There's just so much we can do that could benefit our lifestyles away from just the gym. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the gym. Obviously, that's important. I'm trying to get my son to get in there, not this one, my other one. But at the end of the day, I think it's important for us to embrace nature so that we can walk against the current and be more healthy and help other people. And also get back to community.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. As always, we want to make sure we keep it brief but impactful for our audience. So make sure you guys please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Remember, all of our shows are on YouTube.
Yes.
Yes. And my closing message for you guys tonight is you don't always have to search far for healing. It's right there above.
Oh, wow. I like that.
But catch the analogy. It's right there above, i.e. the Son, but also God.
All right. Good night, y'all. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.